Chanel, France versus America. Although the influence of French fashion can be seen globally, there are cultural differences that affect how a French staple like Chanel functions. By cultural differences, I mean how France believes they should run their stores differs from their beliefs here in America. Like, do they believe that their store setup should be a certain way because they think it will appeal to their target audience? Or do they believe they should use more natural products versus just using artificial products? Or even the languages that they believe that they should require their employees to speak? In my project, I am comparing the cultural beliefs of the Chanel in Paris and the one here in Chicago. I really want to find out how they run their stores differently and also to see if they have any similarities. I interviewed my sister's friend, who is a former Chanel worker. She worked at a Chanel here in Chicago, but I am not allowed to disclose her face, name, or which Chanel she worked at. They make all of their employees, when they first start working there, sign a waiver saying that they would not share the company's personal business with anyone. Even though she is not a worker anymore, she still did not feel comfortable doing this, unless her identity was unknown. She started working at Chanel 5 years ago, so in 2010, when she was 20. She stayed there until 2013, so she was there for about 3 years before she quit. She is currently working at a higher paying desk job, which is her reason for leaving her job at Chanel. I will be comparing her responses to the responses Gabrielle, a former French Chanel intern, supplied me. As I have the voice recording of the interview with my sister's friend, I will play the Inside Chanel videos as the visual. What were the most sold and most popular items that were sold at your store? Gabrielle is a former fashion Chanel intern that my teacher interviewed for me. She said it was a 2.55, which was named because it was created February 1955, the classic flap with the interlocking CC logo in the boy bag.
Yes, the same exact items was sold and popular in my store as well.
What was the specific target audience or demographic was your store trying to tailor to? Gabrielle said in the store she was at, their clientele was primarily Asian tourists who almost always bought the same bag, the classic CC logo, something that is prevalent in their culture where it is important to be able to physically show their wealth. They always bought bags with logos.
We have the same exact target audience, which is shocking to me because I was unaware of that. We mainly have tourists who are mostly Asian and a lot of Asian college students at my store.
Did your store have sales often? If not, why do you think that? And when were your sales period? Gabrielle said her store did not have sales often. She said this is because Chanel is a high luxury brand and they pride themselves on this premium and exclusive aspect. The sales period is during the summer period and aligned with other stores throughout France, but never sold a bag on sale.
Chanel doesn't have sales often for the same reason. Our sale periods were in June through December, but bags are never on sale in my store either.
How do you think your store went about marketing and advertising their products? Gabrielle said it is always this clear and simple message of timeless elegance. At the same time, it is modern but stays classic. That is the same to be said of advertising. It is a high fashion luxury, so it does not so it's not just about the product and price, but more about the experience that comes with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Our message is clear and simple, and it has a timeless elegance, but at the same time, it's modern and classic. We also had our most current ads displayed around our store. So Chanel runway shows are on a big screen, and it shows our products as you walk in the door. And there are more ads displayed in our foyer. When I visited the Chanel in France, their advertising was not as big and like in your face as ours here in America. Theirs was really simple and elegant and straightforward, while ours is large and it's dramatic to catch our audience's attention.
How do you know which client you are going to get? Gabrielle said that said at Chanel you have one client that you have to take care of from A to Z, giving them this Chanel experience of quality, prestige, and elegance. Salespeople often is a mix of old and young people. Older employees catered to an older clientele, and younger employees catered to a younger clientele. They were not allowed to pick their clients.
Our store was different in this aspect, but we did have a mix of old and young employees. Our clients picked us, not the other way around. Who they built a relationship with is usually based on similar personalities and really by ages. I had old clients and young ones as well, so it all really depends on who the customer feels more comfortable with at the end of the day. We don't really believe in assigning certain clients to certain sales associates.
How long were most of your coworkers working there? Gabrielle said at the store she worked at, there were many sales associates that were there for more than 20 years and made an enormous and impressive client base.
We had some employees who were there for about 30 years, and granted, they did have a larger client base than most of the other employees due to the relationships they built over the years. Most employees were there for about 5 to 7 years, though. A couple were there for about 10 years. There were about 3 people, including myself, who worked there for about 1 to 3 years.
What languages did Chanel require you to speak? Gabrielle said languages spoken depends on the country language, but always English as a second language, as much is sold to tourists.
My store only required us to speak English. We did have one person there that was multilingual. In that case, we, did have a tourist who didn't speak any English. We also had one person who's fluent in Arabic.
What type of ingredients are in your beauty product? What type of ingredients are your beauty products made out of? Gabrielle said that she did not sell any beauty products, but she believed that there is more use of natural products in France.
I sold beauty products as well, and actually the products here are made with the same ingredients that they use in France. We both use the same natural ingredients when we make our beauty products.
Is there anything that surprised you about this company when you first started? Gabrielle said the influence, creativity, timelessness, and tradition of the company really struck her when she first started working there because she was not aware of this. What really surprised you when you started this company?
I agree with that. The thing that surprised me most was the whole Chanel story. How Chanel started from basically nothing and established an entire company. I think she was a very smart businesswoman, and she is a legend.
Thank you so much for interviewing with me today. I appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
I also looked at reviews on Welp.com for the Chanel store in Paris and the one here in Chicago. Apparently, the prices of the products are cheaper in France. I am guessing this is due to the shipping fees that America has to pay to get the products over here. Also in France, they have the VAT, which is the value added tax. This is a consumption tax paid on certain goods and services in France and is included in their sales prices. The VAT standard rate for France is 20%. This one particular review that I found interesting is from Nayana S., who is from Houston, Texas. She says, for those wondering if it is worth it to buy in Paris versus the U.S., the answer is absolutely yes. The initial savings on my products was about $600 US, and that does not include the tax I would have paid in the U.S. In addition, you get the VAT tax, which is an additional $400+ in savings. Do the math, it is so worth it. I also went to the library and met with the marketing and sales librarian. He showed me articles from ESCO Publishing. This website gave me general knowledge about how France and America advertise differently. One of the articles said that French advertisement makes greater use of emotional appeals, humor, and sex appeals. Advertisements from the United States were found to contain more informational cues. Also, when it comes to commercials, the United States, in contrast to their French counterparts, often featured a celebrity or credible source to provide testimonials or arguments in favor of the product. The books I got for my topic was Paris Fashion, A Cultural History, and Fashioning the City, Paris Fashion, and the Media. They really helped me to understand the history of how Paris fashion came about and how it has evolved over time. Also, in Modern France, I really focused on Chapter 3 because it talked about Paris, and my topic is French fashion, but I was mostly focusing on Paris. There was this one specific quote in Paris and Magnetic Appeals that really caught my attention, which was Paris inspires as the visual par excellence of an international capital. This really relates to my project because French fashion inspired and had a big influence on not only America but other countries as well. I was not allowed to take pictures of the inside of the Chanel store, so all of my pictures are from online. I also got this amazing quote from Coco Chanel that really caught my attention. She said, "A girl should be two things, classy and fabulous." This quote is legendary.